Hello, welcome to another episode of the Spaghetti Westerns podcast. I'm Tom Betts, your host. This is season 4, episode 96 total, episode 11, total number 96. Today we're going to talk about Bullets Don't Argue. That's basically the sister film for a few dollars more, and you'll see why. Whatever Happened To, we're going to talk about Mimo Palmara. Who are those guys? Jesus Guzman. Film of the week will be Blood Brothers. I should have covered that when we did the DEFA or East German Westerns, but we'll cover it today. And then we've got CD of the week, Autograph of the week, Book of the week. Some of these more obscure Class B spaghetti westerns I don't have posters for, so I don't have posters for either of the films we're going to cover today. But let's get into it. We'll talk about Bullets Don't Argue. Bullets Don't Argue was a 64 Italian, Spanish, German film co-production. Jolly Film out of Rome, Trio Film out of Madrid, Constantin Film out of Munich. Italian title is Le Pistole Non Discutono. The Spanish title is Las Pistolas No Discuten. The German title is Die Letzten Zwei vom Rio Bravo. English titles are Bullets Don't Lie, Guns Don't Talk, the last two at Rio Bravo, and the most popular, Bullets Don't Argue. Sometimes they say Guns Don't Argue, but it's Bullets Don't Argue. Producers were Fernando Rossi, Arrigo Colombo, and Giorgio Papi. Colombo and Papi were producers of For a Few Dollars More. Director is Mike Perkins, also billed as Manfred Rieger, as really Mario Cano. The screenplay was done by Frank Forrester, who's really Franco Castellano, and Donald Much, also billed as Popolo Giuseppe Mochia. Cinematography is by Julio Ortas, which is Julio Plaza, and also Massimo Dallamano. It's in Technicolor and Technoscope. Dallamano was the cinematographer on For a Few Dollars More, so now we know where Sergio discovered him. Music is by Dan Savio, also billed sometime as Emil Morik, M-O-R-I-K, and that, of course, is Ennio Morricone, so we know where Sergio found Ennio. Songs in this film are Lonesome Billy, sung by Peter Tevis, and Old Alice, sung by Vivi Bach. Running time is 96 minutes. Leading characters are Sheriff Pat Garrett, played by Rod Cameron, Billy Clanton or Clayton, played by Horst Frank, George Clanton or Clayton, played by Angel Aranda, and Agnes Goddard, played by Vivi Bach. Real name is Viviana Bach. We'll cover her at the end. And Santero, played by Dick Palmer, who is Domenico or Mimo Palmara. Other names you might recognize that are in the cast is Manny or Manuel, played by Julio P. Tabanero. Ramon is played by Joseph Martin, who's really Jose Manuel Martin. Miguel is played by Paul Smith. It's really Tito Garcia. Captain McKay is played by Joe Camel. This Joe Camel is Giuseppe Frisaldi, not Jose Canalejas, who also used that alias. And the story goes as such. The Clayton or Clanton brothers, Billy, played by Horst Frank, and George, played by Angel Aranda, rob a bank on the day of Sheriff Pat Garrett's wedding. Garrett's played by Rod Cameron. When they kill two of the bank employees who have recognized them, their only option is to head for Mexico with Garrett in hot pursuit. Thinking they are safe, the brothers stop at a local inn for the night. Garrett easily captures them, but the trail back becomes difficult when a local bandit, Santero, played by Mimo Palmara, learns of the $30,000 the trio has with them. Avoiding the bandits while crossing the desert, the three men find a ranch and stop for a rest. The ranch is run by a young woman named Agnes, played by Vivi Bach, and her brother. When Billy falls for Agnes, he sees the evil in his ways and begins to transform into a decent person. Billy helps Garrett defend the money when Santero and his gang attack. He even saves Agnes's brother when the ranch house is set on fire. Garrett will take it back and put in a good word for Billy at his trial, and when he's set free, he'll have a place to return to at Agnes's ranch. Overview of the film is this film and Fistful of Dollars were both produced by Arrigo Colombo and Giorgio Papi at basically the same time. Bullets Don't Argue was to be the feature film, while Fistful was to be a secondary throwaway, but we know what really happened. The film looks very American, which director Mario Cano is trying to duplicate and accomplishes very well. It's a typical bank robbery gone bad with the murder of the banker and pursuit by the legendary Pat Garrett, played by Rod Cameron in his first European Western. Filming locations include Lucianea de los Torres in Almeria, Andalusia, Spain, Embalse de Santillana in Almeria, which was the location in the town scenes were Golden City, Rodacular, and the sand dunes of Cabo de Gata, which were seen in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Some trivia. It was from this film that Leone heard Morricone, and after meeting and discussing his film, he hired him to score Fistful of Dollars. Mimo Palmara was offered the part of Ramon Rojo in Fistful, but chose to appear here as Santero. Jack Dalmas, or Massimo Dalmanos, was also hired as cinematographer from this film. In actor profiles, Sheriff Pat Garrett, played by Rod Cameron. Rod Cameron was born Nathan Roderick Cox in Calgary, Alberta, Canada on December 7, 1910. He moved to Hollywood as a young man and started out as a stuntman and bit player for Paramount Pictures. In 1943, Rod gained star status in action serials for Republic Pictures. As crime-busting federal agent Rex Bennett, Cameron battled enemy terrorists in 15 weekly episodes of G-Men vs. the Black Dragon. It was a hit, and Rod was a star. When cowboy star Johnny Mac Brown left Universal Pictures for Monogram Pictures, Rod Cameron replaced him as Universal's Western series star. Tall and rugged, Cameron looked good in the saddle and was very popular. Cameron was married 3 times and had 2 children. In 1960, he divorced his wife and later married her mother. Rod died in Gainesville, Georgia on December 21, 1983 at the age of 73. Cameron made 2 other Euro Westerns, Bullets in the Flesh later in 64, and then played Old Firehand in the Winnetou film Thunder at the Border in 1966. Billy Clanton, or Clayton, was played by Horst Frank. Frank was born Horst Bernhard Wilhelm Frank in 1929 and died in 1999. We covered him in his own episode, which is number 50. George Clanton, or Clayton, was played by Angel Aranda. Angel Perez Aranda was born on September 18, 1934 in Jaén, Andalusia, Spain. As a university student while studying architecture, he enrolled in the acting branch at the EOC. First, he would combine both dreams, but shortly after he decided to leave the university and become an actor. Such determination would cause him strong family problems, but at the age of 22, Angel Aranda achieved his first significant role in the film Ambassadors in Hell. He was a rather ordinary but decent actor, and throughout the 1960s he managed to occupy a position of some importance in Spanish cinema, and this both by playing leading men or introverted young man roles in national films and participating prominently in many of the genre co-productions, peplum, western, science fiction, and westerns, which were typical for the moments. Thanks to his mastery of Italian, he appears in entirely Italian films, assuming non-significant roles. At the end of the decade, his activity gradually and noticeably decreased until he disappeared after a couple of erotic films and a war film in which he played a very discreet role. Aranda appeared in 8 spaghetti westerns before his death at the age of 65 on July 4, 2000. And last but not least, we have Agnes Goddard, played by Vivi Bach. Vivian Bach, her last name is spelled B-A-K, was born in Copenhagen, Denmark on September 3, 1939. She was a singer and film actress. Before Vivi entered the world of acting and became known as the Danish version of France's beautiful Brigitte Bardot. She worked as a hairstylist. A vivacious beauty, Bach also pursued modeling and singing early in her career. This foray into entertainment helped her land her first acting role in the 1958 Danish comedy Knud og Klunker. Even as Bach pursued her singing career, she landed a singing contract in Germany. She kept busy in film and TV. From the late 1950s to the mid 1970s, she would appear in almost 50 films and at least 6 TV series. After 1976, Bach moved behind the camera and worked as a TV producer in Germany. She was married twice, with her second husband being producer, writer, composer, actor Dietmar Schoner, who was born in 1926 and he died in 2014. They were married from 1965 to 2013. Vivi died from a heart attack on April 22, 2013, in Ibiza, Balearic Islands, Spain. She was 73. Besides Bullets Don't Argue, Bach appeared in one other spaghetti western, A Fistful of Songs, in 1966 as Betty Johnson. Okay, that does it for our spaghetti western history film, and we'll move on to whatever happened to Mimo Palmara. Okay, Mimo Palmara was born Domenico Palmara in Cagliari, Sardinia, Italy on July 25, 1928. He had been a boxer since he was a young boy. He attended the Academy of Dramatic Art, but married immediately afterwards and decided to abandon his acting career. He dedicated himself to professional rugby with excellent results until accompanying his friend Carlo Gioffre to an audition in 1952. He was noticed by Guido Brignone, one of the most famous directors of the time. After a long courtship, he agreed to participate in his first film, Egano. Thanks also to his imposing physique, he became in great demand in peplum films, in which he was often called to play the role of the villain. In fact, we remember him already in the first film of the peplum vein, The Labors of Hercules by Pietro Franchisi, 1958, in the role of the arrogant Iphido, who, defying Hercules, played by Steve Reeves, will end up mauled by a ferocious lion. Palmara also participated in the next Hercules and the Queens of Lydia, 1959. He helped baptize the directorial debut of Sergio Leone's first film, The Last Days of Pompeii, and then in The Colossus of Rhodes in 61, where he plays Ares, who together with his brother Peleocles leads the revolt against the ferocious tyrant Xerxes of Rhodes. When the sword and sandal genre declined, he took part in a number of spaghetti westerns, where he was sometimes credited as Dick Palmer. Palmara was a close friend of Sergio Leone and was Leone's first choice for the role of Ramon in A Fistful of Dollars. Palmara eventually chose to star in Mario Cano's Bullets Don't Argue, and the role of Ramon was played by Gian Maria Volante. This was followed by other films that saw him alternate in the role of the good gunslinger, the sheriff, the bandit, and even an Indian. In the mid 1970s, he turned to TV and starred in two miniseries, Odyssey and La Porta sul Buio, 1973. In the meantime, Palmara began a new career, that of a voice actor, founding in 1967 his own company, SINC Cinematografica, becoming president, actor, and dubbing director, and working on hundreds of Italian editions of Japanese cartoons. Mimo Palmara died in Rome on June 11, 2016, at the age of 87. Some of his better known westerns, and I'll post these after the broadcast, are Johnny West, which he actually starred in 1965, where he plays Johnny Cherokee West as Dick Palmer, billed as Dick Palmer. The Handsome, the Ugly, and the Stupid in 1967, he plays the handsome. Poker with Pistols in 67, he plays Masters. Shotgun in 67 with Tab Hunter, plays Jack Owens or Quartz as Dick Palmer. Blackjack with Robert Woods in 68, he plays Indian Joe. Execution in 68, as Dick Palmer plays Clint Clips. Also in '68, A Long Ride from Hell with Steve Reeves. He plays Sheriff Max Freeman, billed as Dick Palmer. In The Deserter, 1971, he plays Mangus Durango. Panhandle Caliber 38 in '71, he plays Sheriff Ketney Jones. And he was in Westerns All Italiana in 2004 as himself. Okay, let's move on to Who Are Those Guys and Jesus Guzman. Jesus Guzman you'll recognize right away as the peddler from For a Few Dollars More on the train in the beginning of the film. He was born as Jesus Guzman Gorrera in Madrid, Spain on June 15, 1926. He is the grandson of actor Antonio Guzman, born in 1786 and died in 1857, and the son of actor Rafael Guzman and actress Aurora Gorrera Benitez. He grew up in Barcelona, where he made his theatrical debut at the age of 9. In 1956, Jesus made the leap to cinema, participating in the film Manolo Guardia Urbana by Rafael J. Salvia. From there, the actor worked in a large number of films, having an extensive filmography, most of them comedy genre. Since they usually gave him comic roles, he's made over 150 films and over 300 theater appearances. As for television, he debuted in 1971. Despite the extensive work that the actor already had behind him, it was on TV that he achieved a great popularity, joining the cast of actors in the series Crónicas de un Pueblo, Chronicles of the People, directed by Antonio Mercero. In it, Jesus played Braulio, the town's postman, a role that made him a very familiar face for Spanish viewers, and which he continued until 1974. He's gone on to appear in several TV series and is still active today at the age of 96, with his last film in 2020's Amalia en el Otono. Guzman is married to actress Elena Grassi, who's a year younger than Jesus, since 1951, and they have 4 daughters. She's still alive also. Some of Guzman's more familiar films are For a Few Dollars More. Like I said, he plays the peddler on the train in 1965. In '66, he appears as a priest in Up the McGregors. '68, he plays Jonathan Rickoffer or Stauffer in Dead Men Don't Count. Plays Moses in '68 in I Came, I Saw, I Shot. '70, he plays a storekeeper in Santana Kills Them All. '71, he plays a telegrapher in The Ballad of Ben and Charlie. And in '71, his last Western, he plays Toby or Tobias Velasquez in Bastard Go and Kill. Okay, let's move on to the film of the week, and it's Blood Brothers. Okay, Blood Brothers is an East German Western, which I failed to cover when we did the East German special episode. But the German title on this one is Blutsbruder, also Blutsbruder, Zwischen Leben und Tod, and the English title is Blood Brothers. It's a 1975 East German film production, like I said, from DEFA. The director is Werner W. Wallroth. Screenplay and story is by Wolfgang Ebeling and Dean Reed. Cinematographer is Hans Heyrich, and it's in Orwo color, capital O, capital R, capital W, capital O. What that stands for is I have no idea. Music is by Karl Ernst Sasse, and the song in the film is Love Your Brother, sung by Dean Reed. It runs 100 minutes. The main actors in the film are Harmonica, played by Dean Reed. I wonder where they got that title or that character from. Hard Rock, played by Gojko Mitic. Fawn, played by Gisela Freudenberg. And we also have Grey Elk, played by Toma Dumitru. The rest of the actors are all East German or Romanian. You wouldn't know who they are. Story goes as such. In 1864, American soldiers massacre a Cheyenne village at Sand Creek. Disgusted by the massacre, Harmonica, played by Dean Reed, one of the soldiers, deserts the army but is captured by the Indians. At first, the Cheyenne hold him responsible for the murder of the wife and son of their chief Gray Elk, played by Toma Dimitru. But soon Harmonica obtains the tribe's confidence. Thus, Harmonica learns about the lies of the white men, about the allegedly wild Indians, and becomes friends with his former adversary Hard Rock, played by Goiko Mitic. Later, Harmonica even marries Fawn, played by Gisela Freudenberg, Hard Rock's sister. When the tribe is attacked again, Fawn is murdered by the white men. Harmonica is able to capture the men responsible, but is not able to take his bloody revenge. Disillusioned and broken, Harmonica abandons himself to alcohol. But when Gray Eagle is captured, Harmonica finally comes to his senses. He rescues his friend, whereupon Hard Rock and Harmonica become blood brothers. Together they continue to fight for the oppressed Cheyenne. Overview: the film is based on a real incident, the massacre at Sand Creek. Basically, it's a remake of Soldier Blue with Candice Bergen and Peter Strauss. It also has similar elements of Little Big Man with Dustin Hoffman. Most of the action scenes involving battles between the U.S. cavalry and the Indians, and then with Indians and the whites, are at the beginning and end of the film. The rest attests to the white man and the Indians getting to know each other and their preconceived ideas and biases. Like the previous Indiana films, it's filled with propaganda, which is why they were primarily made. Acting is good, and both Reed and Mitic do their own stunts. The supporting roles are at a minimum, as only Gisela Freudenberg as Fawn has much to do with the film, and this is her first film appearance. The only other secondary role is that of Toma Dimitru as Gray Elk, and he's adequate. Music has more of a rousing military basis, and Reed sings the main song, Love Your Brother, and he sings it in English. Far as actors' profiles go, Harmonica is played by Dean Reed, born Dean Cyril Reed in 1938, died in 1986, and we devoted an entire episode to him. It's number 46 if you want to learn out more. Hard Rock was played by Goiko Mitic, born in 1940. He's still with us, and we covered him earlier in episode number 94. Fawn is played by Gisela Freudenberg. She was born in East Germany on November 30th, 1952. She's only appeared in 10 films and several TV series, including Tatort, since 1975. When Blood Brothers was shown during a film festival in Moscow, the artist fell in love with a Munich film critic who was present, which is why she was allowed to move to West Germany in 1979. This was followed by a few supporting roles in television productions, but the actress largely withdrew into private life. Gray Elk was played by Toma Dimitru. He was born on April 27, 1908 in Temoani, Galati, Romania. He graduated from the Conservatory of Dramatic Art in 1932 and made his stage debut at the National Theatre of Bucharest and then in some 25 films between 52 and 81. This is his only Western. Toma died on April 27, 1984 in Romania at the age of 76. Okay, let's move on to Autograph of the Week. Okay, Autograph of the Week is Rick Battaglia. Rick Battaglia was one of those actors that was in the German Winnetou films, and then he branched over to Italian Westerns, and he was in Italian Spanish co-productions. Some of you remember him from Duck You Sucker, where he played one of the lead revolutionaries, but had a long career, great looking guy, but he was relatively secluded to supporting roles. So you won't see him as a star, but he'll always play a secondary role. So that's Rick Battaglia. Okay, let's move on to Book of the Week. Okay, Book of the Week is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the cinema of Duccio Tessari. The author is my friend Fabio Malelli from Italy. It's published by Bloodbuster in 2013. It's in Italian, has 215 pages. There are pictures in it, but it's all in Italian, but it's also got a great filmography. So if you're interested in Duccio Tessari and read Italian or no Italian is great. If you don't, you can pretty well follow the filmography without any problem whatsoever. Okay, let's move on to CD of the week. Okay, C of the week is Le Postole Non Discutono, which is Bullets Don't Argue. It's by Ennio Morricone, comes from Italy. It's on GDM Hillside, number GDM 4138, has 17 tracks, was released in 2010. It's got a value from anywhere from 15 to $50, and you can still find it. Contains the Peter Tevis vocal, Lonesome Billy. The only disparaging part about this CD is it's just got a generic cover. On the back, it does have Mimo Palmara and his bandit gang in the back. Got a brochure in the center, like most of them do. 4 pages with pictures from the film. And if you like Morricone, it's a must-have. Okay, now we'll move on. To the weekly news. Okay, weekly news. There's a new Spanish short Western film which was released on August 18th, 2022. The Day the World Turns, directed by Martin Michels. Didier Mathieu, with a story and screenplay by Michels. With music by Sky Toes Maine, Electric Rodeo, Changes, Country Fire Sight. This film runs 21 minutes and stars Freddie Mariano Barroso, Didier Mathieu, Marzia Liuzzi, and Ein Koster. I don't know much about it. It'll probably pop up on YouTube in not too long. In fact, I've got a link to it on both my blog and Facebook page for Westerns All Italiana and our blog, our podcast link, Spaghetti Westerns. And the second one is the story is basically about a former bandit, now semi-retired as a cattle rancher in Mexico, who must confront the aftermath of his mischievous past at the expense of his closest family in this former world ready to turn around for good or for the worst. Also, we have a new Finnish Blu-ray collection that's been released, Bud Spencer and Terence Hill Comedy Collection Volume 4. This was released by Soul Media number VC-1 on August 15th. It contains 4 discs and 4 films. The films are Buddy Goes West, Troublemakers, God Forgives I Don't, Today We Kill, Tomorrow We Die, and it's in Dolby Digital 2.0 English with Finnish, Swedish, Danish, and Norwegian subtitles. Total running time is 384 minutes. Just want to announce to any of the German viewers or anybody in Europe that's going to the Spencer Hill Film Festival. It's on September 2nd and 3rd in Berlin, Germany. On Friday, the festival runs from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. Saturday, it goes from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. And the program is in the Bud Spencer Cinema with its large main stage and will be broadcast live in the Terence Hill Cinema. Both cinemas together have 1,000 seats. It's free seating with popcorn and bottled drinks. There will be no food or ice cream in historic cinemas. You'll find that in the large foyer and in the beer garden in the courtyard. Okay, that'll basically wrap it up for this week. I want to mention don't forget to catch Jay's Professional Lampini's podcast of horrors with our friend C. Courtney Joyner this Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this has also been a Roberto Genesi production. So until next week, I want to say adios, amigos. See you then.